Hello, Steve White, Trickway89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I somehow managed to forget that the third episode of Lower Decks was coming out and managed to avoid it for a whole day, which was really nice. Then I realised that it was on because people were doing reviews and stuff, and I'm like, oh god, I have to watch it. I really didn't want to watch it. Took me all day. I realised this in the morning. It took until, I think, 7 p.m. to do it. I just watched it. Thank God they're only 23 minutes long. The episode starts off with the usual having to make the white guy look bad. He's doing his nerdy violin Irish jig thing, I don't know what it was. And of course everyone is like, ugh. And Mariner comes in with a flying V and Tendi with drums, and of course they make him look bad. And then we actually have this weird scene which, I don't know, but supposedly the music is so loud it's bothering the Klingon in the other ship who's talking to the captain, but I thought he was just hearing the sound in the background over them, like they're talking and there's this music in the background, and he thought that was disrespectful. I didn't think it was supposed to actually be travelling through space, but although he was talking about the base, and I'm like, well, how does that work? I don't know the science of it. Apparently sound doesn't travel in space, so I can't imagine the base would. I don't know. But some people might be confused about that. I'm not sure. But so we get into the episode. Basically, you got your two stories, your A, B, like Next Gen, which didn't always work in Next Gen. It really should be episode specific, whether a story has a counter story that balances it or works with it. Just the idea of doing this to sort of make fun of the fact they did it in Next Gen kind of bothers me. So the B's, I don't know which is which. But basically, Tendi's being introduced to the idea of buffer time, which is basically, as much as I want to say it's unstarfleet and unprofessional, Scotty did say he keeps his reputation as a miracle worker by exaggerating how long things take, so when he gets things done quicker, it looks better. The idea of a whole crew doing that, however, is not the best thing. So they're telling Tendi basically how to do this, and then Boilerman gets caught out mentioning it, and the captain, who apparently this is a tradition, yet the captain, who obviously was an ensign once, didn't know anything about this, so she basically regiments the whole crew. All their tasks are timed to what they are, I guess, estimated to how long they're estimated to take. So the whole crew is going absolutely crazy, just sleep deprived, exhausted, stressed, running around. Everything's falling apart because no one can get anything done in time, and everyone's stressing to try and do things. So the ship is just a mess, because she was upset because she was supposed to be going to Cardassia to do some diplomatic thing, and they moved it to Vulcan, and she took it as a slight because apparently the ship has a reputation for being full of slackers, and she apparently was demoted onto that ship or something. So there's some tea there that hasn't been spilled properly yet, and she is just seems to be oblivious to the fact that she's ruining her own ship, and that there has to be some sort of balance, and you actually have to allow a reasonable amount of time to do things and allow people some free time and some leeway. So because you can't do what she's trying to do, and the idea she's so stupid that she can't work this out is kind of annoying. The idea that all the command officers are just idiots, and so basically the other story is they're doing second contact with another planet, and the Bolian guy has the wrong gift for these people who are obsessed with crystals, and their enemies apparently are people who are obsessed with wood. So there's a really lame "he's got wood" joke, haha. No, I have to confess I did laugh at one point in this episode, and I'm disappointed in myself, but it was kind of one of those random things, so I don't feel too bad, but so they're down there, they piss off the people, they start throwing spears, they all end up captured, and they're basically they challenge or make the commander have to do like a fight to the death for his crew, and if he loses they get crushed by a giant geode, if he wins they go free. So there's this scene where Mariner and the captain, of the commander, who they're trying to ship, of course. They're arguing, and she's basically saying, you follow the rules because you can't think for yourself. You know, the rules and regulations are just there for people who, you know, can't make their own decisions, who you know, she's basically saying people who have to follow the rules are weak and stupid, and only people who just do whatever they feel or think or spontaneously, their impulse or their instinct tells them to do, basically they are right. So it's a very weird sort of argument. And he actually agrees with her, stabs her in the foot. So he's the one who takes the challenge, although I never thought it would have been her who was going to be taking it on anyway. So he goes out and fights, and she's watching him and like, oh my God, he's so hot. I'm not attracted to this. And when, you know, obviously they're going to end up together, or end up hooking up or something. So of course he wins against this big giant monster who is of course intelligent and tells him at the end of the fight, you know, basically, I'm not into this. And we see him later trying to get his leaders or whatever to try and take a civilized, rational approach to the court process and judging in that, and they can't. They're stupid, so they're like, just create another stupid thing to go through, like the fight. It's like a death race or something. So, but that was almost a Star Trek twist, where the big dumb looking monster that they put him to fight against is actually like a book educated reading intellectual being who's actually trying to subvert everything else because his whole culture is ridiculous. So there was almost a moment of Star Trek there, almost. And it didn't seem like a joke either. It was just sort of just accidentally in there, I think. So then we're back on the ship. The crystal obsessed guys, I can't remember what their name is, they have basically sent little ships to latch onto the ship's... what is it called? The hull. So they get through, and they're just running through the ship, just running amok, but everyone's too busy trying to keep to the schedule and get everything done that they're not really dealing with the alien problem. And the commander is on the bridge, and I don't know why everyone else has passed out, but she's basically trying to do everything herself. And Boilerman walks in there and basically says, no, this is not the right approach. You've got to give people time. You've got to have buffer time. So then she just adapts to that without any balance or rationality, and just is like, okay, she goes on the comments and says, look, just cut any corners, do whatever it takes to win. We are Starfleet, we do whatever it takes to win. Forget about regulations and rules. So then the crew suddenly starts fighting back and beats the crap out of these guys, just through whatever means. They win, they send them packing, and then clean all the graffiti off the ship, because apparently they like to graffiti stuff. And yeah, that's sort of the end of it, really. They just... lawlessness and ignoring regulations and very non-Starfleet wins. Now, just to rub it in, Boilerman, who is like the most regulated person, because during this whole thing, he was basically following everything to the second and up to date, and he was like requesting more duties. And he was sort of saying at one point, this whole crew is a bunch of losers, not everyone can be like me, you know, they need time to do stuff. That was part of his argument. So she names this thing after him. So then he's mortified because he gets known as the laziest Starfleet member ever who got this regulation named after him, like the Boilerman buffer time thing. It's just really insulting and just a joke on him because he's intelligent and professional. He gets referred to as Huffy in the episode. So again, the whole theme of the show, the one joke nature of the show is that the one decent Starfleet officer is the joke and everyone else is just... constantly humiliating him through the whole episode. And the part I did laugh in, which just caught me by surprise, I'm a bit disappointed in myself, basically Mariner has a whole bunch of scars, and she's ends up in med bay, and the cat lady doctor is, because she's not a cetacean or whatever they're called, the cat lady doctor asks, I can clean up all those other scars for you, because earlier in the episode she's like, I've got this scar, I've got that scar, I've got this scar, and she's like pulling all her clothes off to show the scars she's got, which is the first moment we knew there was going to be something happening between her and the commander. And the cat lady, crazy cat lady doctor, basically says, ugh, you have so many scars, you look like a scratching post. And she says, congratulations, you look like a fucking scratching post. And I don't know, it just was just totally random and off the cuff. It just made me laugh out loud. And I was like, damn, I can't say I've never laughed at this show. But the show itself, the story, it's not funny. None of the bigger elements are funny. It's just you might get the occasional random joke which is like so random gets you, or it's sort of character based and is actually funny. I almost laughed at something last week, and I did laugh once this week, like actually out loud. But yeah, so the episode ends off with some Starfleet teacher teaching a bunch of students, which I think included a Borg. I think there was a Borg in there. I can't remember. Legendary Starfleet people, and one of them is the ultimate slacker, Boilerman, which is how he's remembered. So we already know in the future he's known as the biggest loser and slacker in Starfleet. So, Mariner's job is done. That's like the end game for the series. The whole point of the series is to humiliate this character and everything he stands for, which apparently is white males. Because it's just a continuing theme for all the series. And every time I say that, I feel like someone's out there listening to this saying, he's such a misogynist, he hates women. And I'm like, no, I just hate men being made to look stupid as though that's their only way of being. As a species, they're just stupid. So it's just an unfunny, not just a running joke. It is like the theme of the show. And then the other joke is that they put up Mars O'Brien as like the most famous Starfleet, person ever because he was so brilliant, which is sort of, obviously a Deep Space Nine reference and a bit of a joke, but it wasn't really that funny. But I was like, oh, that's... So I heard people talking about O'Brien this week. I'm like, why is he getting attention? Because of that joke. So yeah, so that's what happens. It's the same crap, basically just making fun of everything is Star Trek about Star Trek. Rules, regulations, taking things seriously. These things are important in a command crew, in a serious institution. They're just there just to make fun of everything that is Star Trek. Not what would have been good was just to have a Starfleet crew out there and making fun of everything that could happen to them in space. Just all the things that could happen on missions and stuff, making fun of that. Not making fun of Star Trek, Starfleet, the crew, making fun of just the experience of space travel and all things that could go wrong and be funny. That would have been a good series. This is not a good series. But I don't know if it's not as bad as the last two episodes or if I'm just getting desensitized, which kind of happened with Discovery. After a few episodes, you just don't feel the pain anymore. So, can't read my notes, but I think I remember everything. And I'm done. It just sucks that... I was going to say, it sucks that we could have had a great Star Trek series instead of this, a great animated Star Trek series, but the animation is pretty bad. It wouldn't have been great anyway, but I just wish we'd had a good Star Trek animated series, like the animated series that they did, but just more sophisticated with the art and with the animation. It would have been great. But yeah, we're not getting it. And I can't imagine next week's going to be any better. And God, how many more weeks do we have of Starfleet? What was it, 23 weeks or something? Was it 10 and 13? Yeah. So we've got 20 more weeks of Kurtzman Star Trek. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you liked the episode, keep it to yourself. Sorry, just doing my best Brie Larson there. Any thoughts anyone wants to share, I'm happy to hear. Comments are fun. I don't have anything good to say about this show, and I just wish it didn't exist, because all it does is undermine Star Trek, and everything they're doing just diminishes Star Trek and makes it less valuable in the commercial and public eye, and it's just slowly killing Star Trek. And I'm wondering if they're going to kill it altogether, or if there is a chance that Miss Watts can sort things out at Paramount and they can actually get some real Star Trek back again, and we can just forget about all this, and Star Trek can get some dignity back and maybe some selling power with the merchandise and some ability to make money. One can only hope. I'm gonna go.